Hi all, this is K. Niharika, counseling psychologist and founder of Sinkin. In this video, I'll be talking about how the words empathy and non-judgmentality are being misused. So nowadays we see these words everywhere in the social media platforms and in the books, in the news, in the movies and serials. Everywhere we come across these words empathy and non-judgmentality. And I also hear many times from my own clients, they keep telling me that they are very empathetic and non-judgmental people. So what happens is, the people of category, one particular category. I'm not talking about all the people. I'm only talking about people belonging to one particular category. They are the victims. So what these victims do is they misuse the word non-judgmentality and empathy, and they call themselves as non-judgmental people or empathetic people, and they try to forgive crimes, they try to forgive abusers, they try to forgive all kinds of problem, they try to move on, and they try to not fight, they choose not to fight. So here what happens is, for example, let us say there is a victim, Miss X, and she got abused by a abuser, Mr. Y. So Mr. Y abused Miss X, and Miss X thinks that she's very empathetic person, she's very non-judgmental person, and she decides that she will not take any action and she will forgive Mr. Y, and she will try to move on, she will try to forget everything and live a normal life. So this is something that happens because Mr. Y somehow threatens Miss X, and Miss X has so many fears, and she cannot come out of comfort zone, or maybe she has fears, or maybe she doesn't want to fight, so she cannot take risk, something like that, some other reason will be there. And what she does is she deceives herself, she cheats herself by telling herself that I am an empathetic person, I am a non-judgmental person. So empathy, non-judgmentality doesn't mean somebody has to choose not to fight, somebody has to forgive crimes, forgive abuse. That's not empathy or non-judgmentality. So if somebody who is a victim, if they acknowledge their own emotions and if they fight back, then they can't actually forgive other people. So that's what happens when they become more authentic and they become courageous. Like when they get the courage, they will understand that they were not actually empathetic in the past. They were actually trying to not fight because they were scared of abuser, and they thought that they were empathetic. Most of the people, victims who come to me and think that they are empathetic and non-judgmental, they figure out after a few sessions that actually it was not empathy, it was not non-judgmentality, it's fear, it was fear, and they'll learn how to deal with the fear and they will fight back. So now why fighting is essential? Why? Because empathy, non-judgmentality doesn't mean. So now for example there is an act, Mr. Y did something to Miss X, he abused her. So after that, fighting with Mr. Y is not an act of revenge or something. So here Miss X has to take a stand and fight with Mr. Y. Otherwise, it's more like giving up the power of making decisions. It's more like giving up the rights. It's more like not keeping any boundaries, and it's more like being not being empathetic towards self. It's more like not being kind towards self. It's more like being judgmental towards self. So now you're instead of doing that, non-judgmentality and empathy. That means, for example, when there is a situation, and if you are able to see the situation as it is objectively and not assuming things, that is non-judgmentality. That doesn't mean we should not take any stand. So for example, if there is a Mr. Y and he did the abuse, and he had maybe he had his own reasons. He got abused in the childhood, that's why he abused Miss X. So even if he had reasons, his act cannot be justified, and a act that is done already, and that's giving pain to somebody, that cannot be justified in any situations. Even if he gives thousand explanations, if he did not do it out of force, or when he is unconscious, or when he is, even if he is unconscious because he got drunk, then also again he made the choice to drink. That's why he cannot attribute it to anything. So he had to be responsible and take the responsibility of his action, and Miss X has to fight back. And now in this situation, being non-judgmental is like not tagging the person, saying that he is a criminal and he will always be a criminal. That's being judgmental. And if I have an open perspective, like for example, if I assume that maybe in this situation he did a crime, definitely he did something wrong, and Miss X got Miss X actually faced problems because of Mr. Y, and in this situation, there's that's what happened. And in the future, maybe there are possibilities that there is possibility that Mr. Y will change, or I am not labeling him as criminal for entire life. That's what being non-judgmental means, and being empathetic in the sense understanding why he did what he did objectively. But even if I understand empathetically, I don't need to justify or choose not to take any stand, choose not to take any decision, not to take any action, because that's not being empathetic and that's not being non-judgmental. So this is what is this is learning this is very important for those who actually undergone abuse, or those who are fighting, or those who underwent some kind of or those who are suffered because of others. And to watch more such videos, subscribe to Sinkin channel. Same video is available in Telugu also. So if you are someone who is more comfortable with Telugu, you can subscribe to Sinkin Telugu. And if you want to watch English videos, you can subscribe to Sinkin English. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.